So we'll see who it is.
Yeah, high stakes at this point here. If either player wants to keep it going on that run. Like I mentioned, Vince did get upset earlier by Kuro, so they've been in the loser bracket for a decent bit at this point, trying to make their way back. And starting this round strong, does manage to survive that massive spike by Shark, but Shark is the one who still has this back-to-back pressure already going out there with this speed, and has a ton of all spins there, forced to break out of it, and Vince still managed to survive and has a lot of clean to work with, but as I say that, they also have that misdrop right at the top there, cannot make their way out of it.
Yeah, that's going to be first point for Shark here, and we're back into the first to 11 matches since we're over on the pink bracket.
It's starting this round a bit slow here, already at the top of their board, does some all-spin magic to make their way through it all. That massive spike there, had the dono to follow up, that would have been so nice, but it does not even matter because Vince still gets the win.
Yeah, and we do see an early no sweep here. Absolutely love to see that in these matches. Vince plonking this TKI. Shark being the one to start off building that back-to-back here. Vince gets that surge right after. Shark with a strong 4-5 stack, as they do have that 13 back-to-back. That minus 13 is over on Vince's board right now. Vince delivers a lot of cheese over to Shark's board, so they do have to break back-to-back in that 39 spike.
Yeah, that was a very nice job by Vince. If they were not gonna break that back-to-back soon, they were in very big trouble. So that cheese was very, very important there. And now Shark is the one with the back-to-back deficit, as Vince sends the spike, not able to get the killing blow. Shark just barely finding the down stack and gets a nice all-spin combo of their own here, as Vince tries to find any way to kill. With that 38 spike, it is enough there!
Yeah, the 38 spike there from seemingly nowhere. That was wild. Not even a ton of back-to-back on top of that. They're just really strong follow-up, and that is enough to find that round.
Yeah, very nicely done. But in this round, we see Shark is the one with the lead here, has that 7 back-to-back, forced to break out of it as they don't have an easy way to keep the combo. Vince, on the other side, doesn't have much of a combo of their own, fairly low on their board here, trying to find the pressure as Shark has that misdrop there. Very unfortunate.
All right, we do see this SDPC spin here from Shark's side. Vince doing a little plonking on the opener here. Both players building up that back-to-back. Vince up at the top here with Shark down at the bottom of the board.
That eye spin by Vince to keep back-to-back was crazy. Following it up with a 27 back-to-back spike. Shark still had the back-to-back, was not able to clear a line to cancel, and with that, Vince taking a good 3-point lead.
Yeah, and Vince building up this TKI here while Shark is going for the SDPC spin yet again.
Yeah, Vince getting those eye spins so quickly, like they're just a regular clear. Even still, Shark is the one with the pressure at this point, has that 7 back-to-back, trying to maintain it, still going with this pressure, does finally break, but Vince is sent up extremely high, just barely surviving, and has that S misdrop while they try and build the kite in, but still managed to find the down stack.
Shark over here with not the cleanest board. Amazing fix though, keeping that back-to-back. That minus 13 over on Vince's board, not looking great. Shark with the 34 spike sends Vince up to the top, and Vince not able to clear enough in time.
Yeah, that was really good survival by Vince, but even still, it just does not matter. And Shark gets their second win in the books.
Let's see if Shark is able to carry that momentum forward, or if Vince is able to do Vince things and find more rounds here before Shark can get too many in the set.
Shark does a nice job keeping back-to-back, but not very long as they get spiked up very high here. They continue with this back-to-back, nicely done, even after breaking their chain. Vince, on the other side of things, does not have too big of a chain. Does start to build one up here as Shark breaks their own. Vince getting the Z-spin overhangless triple, doesn't even clear a line, just doing it because you can, I guess. Now does that
Vince with an interesting
L-spin...
setup. You can't do much with that here.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that L-spin, but doesn't have the T-spins to follow it up. Forced to break here, but starts to build another one right after here. Shark on the other end of things, trying to find some way to cancel this big combo at this point. Does not manage to kill Shark though, as Vince with a bunch of misdrops there, with amazing down stack to survive it, but not enough.
Yeah, and Shark is able to find a kill there, but boy, was it a tough one. So many spots there where Shark tried to kill Vince and looked like they had it secured, and Vince was able to just come back, and let's see if Shark is able to continue doing that. Knowing Shark as a player, though, they'll definitely be able to continue finding those opportunities, find those openings, and try to get that good timing on Vince. Definitely some board watching going on here, helping them with these timings, and that 46 spike.
Oh my god, and
oh
Vince,
my god.
Vince still nearly survived that, but with that Shark ties it right back up and keeping it very close here.
More SDPC spin. Vince breaking in this combo down stack here while Shark is continuing to build up this back-to-back. We see the -8 coming and going on Vince's screen as they're just eye spinning in the face of that.
Yeah, managed to survive there. Shark was forced to break as they had a lot of cheese on their board, giving Vince the chance to get out. They do manage to find a nice combo there, but immediately Shark sends a huge spike of cheese there. Now Vince again trying to downstack, and looks like Shark choosing to time here.
Yeah, Vince with a 31 spike here. That does find its way into Shark's board, and that is pretty messy. Both players have a bit of cheese in their garbage right now. Shark's the one who has back-to-back here. Vince with a 16 spike. Shark breaks.
Yeah, that was a nice combo by Vince, forcing Shark to break out of it, but Shark immediately going right back into this chaining as Vince trying to find a chain of their own. Does time that spike, nicely done as it cancels a good amount, but they still have a lot of cheese on their board. Might be forced to break out of it just to downstack, or they might just downstack through half of it on their own and get a massive spike after to take the win.
Yeah, beautiful combo there, beautiful spike, and Vince has managed to take some of the momentum out of Shark's sails, and Vince just flonking this T-spin. That's an unfortunate garbage column there for Vince, but both players waiting.
Yeah, Vince now timing here, getting to that well, does finally clear it up here, and trying to keep that back. What are you doing, Vince? What? You could find some easier way to back-to-back, but I guess he chooses not to. And even still, Shark maintaining a bigger back-to-back here. And both of them spike at the same time. Shark does have the bigger spike, so sends a little bit more, but Vince immediately downstacks that, and now Shark dealing with a bit of cheese under this clean well, trying to find the clear and cannot get to it in time.
Yeah, and Vince taking a 2-point lead here in this set. Vince opening with 2 eye spins, and Shark going with this SDPC spin.
Yeah,
Vince doing a little bit of waiting here.
Yeah, he is timing a lot more than I expect, but it's working out for him. He has that lead. Keeping it together, forced to break that back-to-back chain. Shark on the other end of things doesn't have the cleanest board right now. Trying to find their way down as Vince building the TST tower out of nowhere. As to be expected from Vince. Has that back-to-back maintained still and gets a nice spike out of it, but Shark is completely fine.
Yeah, Shark with some great counters to that APM that was coming out from Vince there. Pausing a little bit, breaking back-to-back as Vince has this fractal setup. Oh, that's 4 T-spins.
God, Vince! What the hell?
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Even still, Shark survives, but not for much longer as Vince gets another spike there.
Those 4 T-spins really working out for Vince there.
I mean, yeah, I guess if you're Vince, you can just get away with stuff like that on a regular basis.
Vince with a misdrop here. That's going to slow him down a little bit at the start of this round, force an early break. Shark's going to be able to build up back-to-back in response.
Yeah, they do have that 9-0 well, so cannot clear too much, forced to break out of the back-to-back eventually, but it might still be enough as Vince is sent to the top here. But Shark with the misdrops!
Shark had a misstack. Oh no, that was a misstacked Kaidan that caused that there for Shark.
Yeah, covers up the well, could not make it out, and Vince now with a very fast 8-point lead. Shark had it, tied it back up, but Vince with these rounds, back to back to back to back, and now only needs 3 more to win it. Shark needs to slowly bring it back. Both of them at this point maintaining basically the same back-to-back chain here. Vince does break it with some misdrops, it looks like, and now Shark has the chance to potentially build up this surge.
Yeah, and Shark playing this completely confident right now. Some great all spinning going on here. Do you see that minus 17 on Vince's board? They're trying to count it down, but Shark is sitting here on that 24. They send it in a 35 spike. Vince is ready, but still up at the top of the board, trying to accept what's incoming.
Yeah, that was amazing timing by Vince. He knew that attack was coming any moment, just barely surviving, but Shark already has another big back-to-back chain built here, already has a plus 15. Vince trying to do some all-spin magic, I think messes up that overhang, forced to break out of it. Shark still doing just fine here, and Vince now, once again, forced to time here, trying to find some way to live here.
Shark just choosing to rip it and break that back-to-back. Vince is up at the top of the board, finds a downstack spike through the garbage.
Yeah, continuing to survive here, even with these back-to-back chains by Shark. Very nicely done by Vince. Just continued pressure by both of these players.
Yeah, both players just trying to look for an opening, finding these small spikes, seeing if they can time some of the garbage here, but both players proving to be very strong as they're watching what's going on, and that's insane.
That spin was crazy by Vince. It led into a huge spike, but Shark completely fine. Not only fine, has the back-to-back chain lead. Keeping it going, does finally break here. Vince doesn't have the cleanest board here. Does have that misdrop with the Z piece. Managed to find a way to fix it, but Shark continuing this pressure, continues to maintain this back-to-back lead. Might be forced to break it as they're sent to the top. Does finally break it, gets that huge 38 spike. Vince just barely surviving, and this round is gonna start approaching margin time as these players keep on going.
Right, and Shark has tried so many times to kill Vince here, but Vince still keeps finding the stack to stay alive, which is just so tough on the side of Shark here, as Shark is up at the top with quite the board and not quite the stack.
Shark had that nice all-spin setup, but wasn't fast enough, just messing up the spins a little too much. And now Vince only 2 away. Looks like both players slowing down a bit this round. Neither really wants to make a mistake at this point. Now they're starting to speed right back up here. Both have basically the same chain here. Vince does break with a huge spike. Shark not the cleanest board, does manage to survive, but not long enough there, and Vince now at match point.
Yeah, Vince with 6 unanswered points here right now in this set, staring down the barrel of match point. And Shark just still starting strong with this opener here.
Yeah, Shark is playing amazing, but Vince just has a survival. What happened, Vince, with that eyepiece tower there? Still barely surviving, going for the TSD, has a misdrop, and not able to get out of it. I don't know how Vince does what he does.
That is wild in comparison to that last round of how much Vince survived and then just going straight into that. I mean, you can absolutely afford to have that when you're on match point, but it is kind of a funny juxtaposition.
Yeah, it is A very interesting switch up to see here. But speaking of switch up, we now see Vince with the back-to-back lead here. He has not really had much of the leads in the past couple of rounds. Does finally break it, as Shark has this really clean board state, has a lot to send, and send it he does, continuing to keep his match alive, keeping it going here.
Vince missing the eye spin and finding it yet again.
He's a big fan of those eye spins, as am I, but he's a lot better at getting them than I am. With this round now, both players not being too aggressive. Shark with that misdrop there, hesitating just a little bit too long, and Vince was able to take advantage to get this win.
Yeah, and that will be Vince continuing on in that loser's bracket here, and Shark will be eliminated from the tournament.
Yeah, that was a nice performance, ending